Hey, what? So I'm just leaving the hospital after visiting a loved one, and I figured, fuck it. I got some thoughts on my mind. Might as well share them with you. Let's see if this works out. Might be a little bouncy. I don't know if the audio's good or if it records well, but fuck it. What's up? What's up, Tony? So, a couple things. Um, a lot of people have talked about Suge's relationship with Pac and Pac's loyalty to him, uh, Billy Garland, uh, Matulu Shakur, a lot of the male role models. And let me preface all that. Back up. Sorry, this shit might be a little choppy. So I think someone who lacked a. I had a father, but I didn't have any guidance from my father. I was sort of like a fucking Tarzan. Had to scrape my knees and learn what the fuck I learned on my own. And I think, look, my life was nothing like Tupac's. I'm not a black man in America. To me, that's the hardest fucking thing to be in this country. I'm an Iranian, and the worst I got was getting beat up for being Iranian or being called a camel jockey or a sand nigger in high school. So I had a lot of scrapping as a result of that. But so Pac grew up without knowing he actually had a dad until he was 23, I think. He didn't know about Billy Garland until he was 23. I met Billy Garland. I actually met him for the first time at the hospital in Vegas when Pac had been shot, because he flew in. Afeni wouldn't give him a room. Suge wouldn't give him a room. So I offered to let him stay in my room. Him and Kevin Hackey, funny enough. Seemed like a really, simple, nice guy. I guess he was a truck driver. Uh, uh, it became abundantly clear to me that whatever Tupac learned or got, he got from his mom, because Billy was just a very simple dude. So, as someone who didn't necessarily grow up with a lot of male structure or guidance, I think it would be safe to say that that was sort of his Achilles heel. And I sort of think, don't you think that Afeni Shakur should have put him on child support? I missed that, but sorry. It's funny, I wish you could just click on the fucking questions or whatever comes up and hold it there for a while, long enough to real, especially a long ass one like that last one you just sent. So anyway, I think, again, my opinion is that Suge, look, I don't know much about Suge other than the fact that he was associated to a lot of murders and made people drink piss and intimidate and fuck people up and ran people over with trucks. But I think he was smart enough, a Svengali enough, to be able to manipulate the lack of a father figure that Pac had and sort of fill those shoes. Because Pac was loyal as fuck, but I don't necessarily think his radar for authentic, honest, loving male relationships like you would have with an uncle or father. I don't think Pac had that. I don't think he had clear awareness of that, because I think he was brought up with a lot of mistrust of men, both by his mom and the fact that no father figure ever stuck around, you know, like Mutulu Shakur got arrested and he was put in prison. And he didn't really know Billy Garland until a couple of years before he died. So I sort of feel like Suge consciously or subconsciously got to take advantage of that Achilles heel. And I find fault in all the fans that say, oh, you know, you love Suge, you love this, that, the other. The last few months of Pac's life, he was ready to get the fuck out of death row. I saw him on the phone yelling and screaming, and a lot of those times it was with Suge asking where the fuck his money was. Billy Garland did contact with Pac. They had a relationship, am I right? After Pac had grown up and stuff. Yeah, it was after 23. Billy in the hospital shared with me and Kevin Hackey that the first time he got shot in New York was one of the first times he'd seen him, and that Pac had promised they would have fly him out a few times, and in fact, September, October, November was supposed to be the first Thanksgiving they spent with each other, and Pac was going to fly Billy and his wife, and I guess his kids out, and they were all going to have a Thanksgiving together. So that's the extent of the Billy relationship that I know about. But, you know, I think Pac was learning, he was transforming, and he sort of learned by fucking up and learning from that. And I think the miscalculation for him was not knowing how the fuck to get out of Suge and Death Row's clutches without getting harmed, because Pac wasn't the kind of dude that would bend his knee. And from the stories that I heard, Dre knew when to bounce and he knew what to leave behind so he wouldn't get hurt. On your street looks real late. Yeah, it is. It's not late, but it's dark. It's 7 p.m. Sorry, I'm walking, so I felt like having a walk. Not cool with Sugar with the money, but because Suge would have paid him. Nah, Suge, dude, come on now. I mean, if you know the history, Afeni had to sue Suge and Death Row to get a proper accounting, because everything that Pac thought he owned, like the house in Calabasas or the apartment here on Wilshire or the Jag or the Rolls, none of that shit was in his name. None of it. Pac was an early bird. Pac was not an early bird. Pac slept late and woke up late. And his assistant Molly was in charge of waking him up. And of what I heard, or what I remember, he was an angry motherfucker when he woke up too. He hated being woken up. But the amount of weed and booze that he would consume every night, no wonder, because shit. Yeah, so that's the disparage between the relationship I think that Sugar's built for himself with Tupac. And, you know, like even hearing him say, you know, I don't know, that when he got shot, he turned to Suge and said, I love you, or whatever the fuck he said. I mean, I don't even buy that shit. You know, the fact that he was wearing his euthanasia medallion and he dropped the Death Row one, Mo Prime and the Outlaws in the final months. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I only know the sort of the Mo Prime falling out stories by, you know, what I've heard. I don't know firsthand, but I've heard from family members and others, but I can't speak on Mo Prime or what happened in the final months. But yeah, for me, look, I grew up without. I've tried to learn from the mentors and the successful men that I've met in my life, uncles and business associates, and my friends' dads, where I hadn't learned on my own. Pac never had that luxury. I don't think I don't think he trusted too many people, and I think he was let down by a lot of men that could have conceivably filled that paternal role. And I think, yeah, to me, Suge was sort of manipulated Pac into the relationship they had because, I didn't spend time with them alone, but I definitely was in the room when Pac was on the phone yelling and screaming for accounting or wondering why his gridlock check had gone to death row and not straight to him. So, he was not a happy camper. But that's it. That's all I kind of have to say about my small observation. So I still have some of these prints available if y'all want to get them. Limited edition prints that will not be available once they're sold out. Because hopefully then I'll start doing gallery shows and they'll be selling for 3-4 times that. GoBeRahimi.com. Pac was desperate to get out of prison. He signed the contract. Suge lawyer had no idea the fine print of the contract. There was no fine print. I've seen the contract. Quincy Jones got a copy of it. It was handwritten, 3 pages by David Kenner, and just that contract should have never happened if someone was there to protect him, because Kenner was Suge's attorney. He was a part owner in Death Row. And by signing that, he became Pac's attorney as well. So it was a straight up conflict of interest, 3 ways around. So, everything. Do you think his murder was gang related? Nah, I don't think it had anything to do with gang retaliation. I think that's the excuse. The same way governments get into wars with what they call false events, like Pearl Harbor. The story is that the U.S. knew the Japanese were going to come and bomb Pearl Harbor, so they moved most of the Pacific Fleet out into the ocean away from Hawaii. And they left a couple of scraps around to allow Japan to bomb, so the U.S. could turn around and bomb Japan. Same thing with a lot of other things, like the plane going into the Pentagon, the plane that was never there and no scraps were ever found. Took out Tupac. Government. Look, there are many theories, unfortunately. I think since LAPD and Compton PD both had a lot of dirty dealings, we'll never really know the truth. And Pac was a loud black man that was amassing power, because when you think about it, if he was still alive, he'd be triple what Jay-Z, 50, and P. Diddy are right now. He would have outmaneuvered all of them, and he had the wisdom and the intellect as well. So, yeah, government, P. Diddy, people from the police force, his label. There are many theories, and unfortunately, I don't think that'll ever get solved. Conspiracy theorist, 100%. I'm a conspiracy theorist when it comes to certain things, because just like our Orange Avenger president is yapping about some bullshit, trying to start some wars, Congress is passing laws that we don't have access to because it's all smokescreen. They elect the dude knowing what the fuck they were getting into, because he's the perfect distraction from their real action. So, yeah, Pac, a lot of rappers were happy Pac got killed, especially on the East Coast. How come the government hasn't killed off these powerful black men? So, I don't think the powers that be take out powerful people who do not get involved socially. Jay-Z and P. Diddy haven't done shit but line their pockets. And no one's going to take them out. They play by the rules. Pac didn't play by the rules. Pac made his own rules. Talk about other conspiracy theories. Why don't you agree? You should consider anything. The only thing I don't agree with is that dude's alive. If dude was alive, I'd know about it. If anyone knew about it, I'd know about it. And God, I wish to God he was. My life would look fucking different in many ways. But wish to God he was alive, man. If he was alive, all our lives would be different. Everyone that knew him, his sister, his aunt, his cousins, the outlaws, anyone that had any sort of business or creative dealings with him, the producers. I don't think Frank Alexander, Yaki, or Michael Moore, or Fatal. I don't think any of them would be dead right now if he was alive. So, to me, all the Pac's alive theories are the same sort of urban legend that Bruce Lee and Bob Marley and all the artists that had a significant impact on people's lives. You don't want them to be dead. I don't want them to be dead. I wish to God he was fucking alive. They're afraid he's going to become president. 100%. Like I said before, Pac was still alive. He would have probably bought somewhere like Liberia or Mali and opened it up for big business and would have started his own army. Guarantee you. Guarantee you. Anyway, that's it for now. That's all I got. If something else comes to the dome, or if you guys want to hear about something else, or my little humble opinion on something, I'd be more than happy to share it. But again, like I said, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one. Danny Boy, he would not fuck what Pac. How many lives destroyed? I think Danny Boy could be totally wrong about this one. Yeah, I don't know about anything that Danny Boy said or saw. A lot of people have said Pac woke up and talked to them and did all kinds of shit, but I was there for 6 nights from 12 to 8 in the morning, including a few days. And every time the nurse gave me a report, she would talk about putting him in an induced coma because every time he came to, he would try to pull the plugs out and get out, and they didn't want to risk him getting a cardiac arrest. So that's it, y'all. Keep it west, wherever you're at. And I pray the truth comes out. I pray that good projects come out. And I'm still at it. Still at it.